Welcome to the Emerging Professional at the Coffee Conference Show, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is In the World of Corporate Banking. We are at AWFIS co-working space, and it's a special Republic Day episode, and we have with us Palak Jain. Currently, she is Deputy Vice President, Debt Capital Markets and Structured Credit at Kotak Mahindra Bank. She has been recognized as a Kotak 40 under 40 leader for her exceptional contributions. She is an inspiring finance professional whose career spans diverse domains like debt syndication, structured finance, corporate banking, and treasury strategy. Palak has played a pivotal role in raising over 9 billion through complex financial transactions and has a proven track record of executing high yield structured deals. So, Palak, welcome to today's Coffee Conversation episode.
Thank you so much, Amir.
Yeah. So, Palak, I want to explain you. We have got, you must be aware of the 2 rounds, but there is a third surprise rapid fire round.
Okay.
For which you have to be witty, fun, and quick,
Okay.
and you will get to win this your gift.
Okay. Looking forward for the same.
Okay, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and a legal tech evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution. We help law firms, corporate legal, startups, SMEs with world-class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. And so, Palak, my first question for your professional journey round, what motivated you to specialize in finance, especially debt syndication and structured credit?
So Amir, for me, it goes to a long time back. Okay, so when I was a teenage kid, my parents used to watch a lot of CNBC at home. So that really, intrigued interest of finance inside me. And let's say the age of 12, I used to remember stock prices of a lot of stocks. So that really, created the base of finance and interest in finance inside me. And at the same time, my parents used to give me all the basic bank related jobs, etc., to do at that age. So that was the start of finance inside me. And because of that interest, I opted to go for chartered accountancy course. And during my chartered accountancy, in my internship period, I realized that apart from audit and taxation work, I was more keen in project finance. And that's where post qualification, my journey in treasury started. When I started my work in treasury, I was in debt arrangement, which is basically raising debt for the corporates. And during that period, I interacted with bankers in debt syndication and private credit. And I was fascinated by the work which they were doing. So that fascination ultimately motivated me to go for a role in debt syndication and credit markets.
That's very interesting journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Palak, you have worked across different companies and roles. How has each experience shaped your expertise in structured finance?
So Amir, as I told you, I started with corporate finance and treasury. So that's a role wherein you're borrowing money, right? And I was working in organizations. So first organization I worked with is a mining conglomerate, and second organization I worked with is a leading telecom player. So when I was working in these 2 organizations, in my first organization, when I was working in a mining conglomerate, the mining sector was going through its own tough time, and it's a cyclical business. And similarly, when I was working in telecom sector, it was a turbulent time for the sector. So these difficult times required innovative solutions. So that's where I got introduced to structured finance and structured credit when we were raising money for these companies. So that was the base for thinking in an innovative manner with respect to fundraising. And that base really helped me move to the other side of the table, wherein now I am providing solutions to clients in their fundraising exercise. So basically an experience from one side of the table wherein you're the customer really helps you understand what a customer requirements are, right? And it helps me to empathize with the other side of the table while being a banker now.
Wow, that's very interesting. Palak, Uh, our viewers like to understand in simple language this debt syndication, structured finance, treasury rules.
Okay. So first I'll talk about debt syndication. So debt syndication is basically providing a holistic solution to a client. So let's say a client comes to a banker for a large requirement, and the banker from its balance sheet may not be able to fulfill that requirement. So what a banker would do is a banker will partner with other lenders in the market and provide a holistic solution to the client. So from client's perspective, the advantage which the client gets is that he has to interact only with one person, and that person in the background is working with other lenders and investors and is able to deliver a full solution to the client. So from client perspective, instead of running to 10 different shops, he gets a one solution from one single person. So that's basically debt syndication.
Okay.
Now coming to structured credit. So structured credit is nothing but delivering tailor-made solution to people. So sometimes the requirements are not plain vanilla. Sometimes there's a special situation which demands a special solution, and each situation is different. So from that perspective, a banker can think through, provide a tailor-made solution to a specific situation requirement of a client. So that is basically structured finance. And treasury is nothing but management of money. So treasury can involve borrowing money, investing money, managing your daily liquidity, or managing your foreign currency and commodity risk. So treasury is nothing but every activity which involves management of money.
Wow, beautifully explained. Uh, so let's move forward.
Mhm,
So how do you approach building strong relationships with
mhm.
investors like AIFs, NBFCs for successful deal closures?
So look, successful relationship is based on what you're able to give them on the table. So when you're going and meeting them, if you're able to deliver something to them or offer something to them which is of their interest, then the relationship will deepen. So the primary things which work in this relationship management is what you're selling to them is a credit, right? So a deep understanding of credit really helps. Plus, what also really helps is an understanding of their requirements. So each investor has a different requirement for the kind of products which are investable for them. So if a salesperson has an understanding of the products which works for its investor and understands the credit well, and it's transparent in dealing, then I think a long term relationship can be created which is mutually beneficial to both the parties.
Wow, beautiful. Okay, let's continue. What are the biggest challenges in raising funds for large corporations and how do you navigate them?
Okay, so in my role in syndication, so I'm dealing with two customers at a time. One is a customer who has come to me for raising money, and I have 10 other investors with whom I'm dealing on behalf of this customer. So I have to manage both the customers at the same time. And sometimes the requirement of both of these customers can be different and opposite to each other.
Yeah.
So mingling them together and coming to a conclusion and closure of a transaction, I think, is the biggest task. And these 10 investors may also have different requirements. So bringing them on a common page and managing all of this together, because at same point of time you're working with these 11 different counterparts, and 11 different counterparts will think in 11 different ways.
Yeah.
So bringing them all together on one common page, I think, is the biggest challenge.
So what are your strategies for bringing them on one table? Because each person has got a different mindset from their requirements. Because this is managing a huge set of people, culture,
Yeah.
so many things come into the picture, and this is what must have helped you becoming a Kotak 40 under 40 leader.
Mhm. So I think what goes behind this is continuous persistence to find a solution. So there is no clear answer to it, or there is no clear method which will work in all the cases. Each case requires different kind of work to be done, and it is about finding a middle way which works for both the counterparties, so that none of the counterparties are at loss. So, transparently sharing a problem with the other counterparty really helps in devising a solution, because now not only you are trying to find a solution, but the other counterparty along with you is also trying to find the same solution. So I think bringing together people on a common page and try to identify a mutual solution has worked with me in most of the cases.
Wow. So let's go to the next question. Talk about the leadership qualities which are essential for success in your type of work, like debt syndication, structured credit, treasury
Mhm.
rules.
So I think perseverance, integrity, and passion for finance. I think all these are essential qualities one need to have. Plus, I think finance is also evolving. So one has to keep pace with the changes which are happening, and one has to learn new things and unlearn the old things at the same
Mm.
time. So change is the new constant which has become in finance also, and one has to keep learning and keep prioritizing on the things which need to be focused upon. So I think these are the things which can really help one in a successful journey in finance.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. What's the most innovative financial structure you have worked on during your uh, career?
So I think there are multiple, I would say, structured transactions which have happened, but I think most innovative one I would term to be a transaction which I had done when I was working with a telecom player. So we did a perpetual bond issuance. A perpetual bond itself has life till perpetuity, so it does not have a maturity. But of course, investors who are investing in such instruments need their money back. So it's a structured instrument wherein you put such conditions, caveats, etc., that the issuer repays the money within a certain time frame, and at the same time you want to manage the pricing from the investor's perspective also, because nobody will want to invest at a reasonable price on an instrument which does not have a maturity. So this particular kind of an instrument is unique in nature. It was the first dollar issuance from India, which is perpetual in nature. So from regulatory perspective also it was a newer instrument. So all the nuances were being done firsthand, including your regulation management, including your credit rating, including your documentation structure, including the identifying the right set of investors. And ultimately we were able to manage a lot of long only investors invest in this instrument. So first of its own kind, and was done at the time when telecom was still in a turbulent telecom sector was still turbulent. So a very unique instrument that really helped solving the problems which were there at that point of time.
Beautiful. Okay. Let's talk about the Airtel Africa IPO.
Mhm.
What were your learnings and eh, how was the experience?
So I think learnings were plenty. Africa is totally a different market, and
Yeah.
we went for listing in London. So uh, in Airtel Africa, Airtel operates in 14 different geographies. So each of those different geographies have different nuances, right? So putting them all together, and it was a very long task. So what we did there was divided these long tasks into smaller tasks and achieved smaller goals one at a time. And eventually, what gave us real sense of accomplishment is a successful listing and a successful performance on the exchange. And it was one of its own kind of company, because you don't see such diverse companies in a telecom sector otherwise, which operates in such diverse geographies. So operations in Africa, listing in London, and the parent in India. So from geography perspective also it was a very diverse transaction. So, I mean, this transaction is one of its own kind. In terms of learnings, it gave absolute learnings in terms of how an IPO operations, etc., work, and how can one contribute. I mean, my contributions in this entire process really helped me diversify my experience to more towards equity than just debt raise. So overall, a very I would say enthusiastic transaction for me, wherein I got to manage a lot of nuances.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, Palak,
Mhm.
how do you balance the technical aspects of financial modeling with the strategic side of decision making?
So I think one is very micro and the other is very macro. So financial modeling is micro, wherein you get into each and every number which goes into the financial model. And when it comes to decision making, it is very macro, because you look at the bigger picture, right? So financial modeling becomes the base for your macro decision making, right? So you have to understand when to zoom in and when to zoom out. So let's say when you're doing a promoter meeting, you can't do a full zoom in and you can't question all the numbers on the model. But what you can do is talk the macro numbers. At the same time, when you're doing a financial modeling basis, which you are making your decision, you have to be accurate on each and every number.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of zooming in and zooming out, depending upon the situation and the circumstances you are in.
I'll remember this conversation, zooming in, zooming out.
Yeah.
Each speaker gives some key lines, keywords,
Mm-hmm.
which I remember. So I'm planning to make a book also on my
That's great.
conversations. Okay, uh, I've got two questions.
Mm-hmm.
So for your professional journey round, which I'll then go to the next round. One curious question: What are like ye you are dealing with within your team, there is a hierarchy also with your
Yeah.
seniors and
Mm-hmm.
your juniors. So how do you balance your relationship and by you're able to deliver, because you have to report to the management
Mm-hmm.
where you're working on ye, uh, structured credits, debt syndication, and that involves what do you say, huge numbers,
Yeah.
and that involves proficiency, efficiency,
Yes.
and getting your team to deliver. So, what are the key elements which are is required for a successful relationship?
So I think one of the key elements which is required for maintaining successful relationship is information symmetry. So when you're working with your subordinates, if you're apprising them of the entire transaction from the start to the end, and not just telling them about the intermittent work which is required to be done, then they feel really involved in the transaction and then they own the transaction. So what is really important is to help them or make them feel important, that they are running this entire process, and to cover them in their mistakes. So if you just keep highlighting their mistakes in front of their seniors, they will not feel motivated to work with you. So it's very important that you cover their mistakes at times. But of course, it is also important to correct them. But at the same time, not be absolute blunt with them, because a human is supposed to make mistakes, right? And taking them through the entire journey. And at the same time, with the seniors, what is most important is keeping them updated on the key milestones, keeping them updated in case you are facing any challenge, and asking for help if you need it. So I don't believe in being a superhero all the time, that I can manage everything on my own. So whenever you need help, whenever you need assistance, whenever you need suggestions, it's important that you go to them, ask for help, ask for solutions, and they will be very happy to help you. So I
Beautiful.
think important project closure involves support from both your seniors as well as your subordinates, and it's important to keep them all together.
Yep.
So that is what has worked for me.
Beautifully explained. Why I'm asking all these questions, because we want who. My last question is related to that only. So, what advice would you give to young professionals
Mhm.
aiming to make an impact in corporate finance, treasury rules?
I would want to be called myself as well as a young professional. But I think be your authentic self, keep learning, keep reading. There's plenty of material which is available. Prioritize what you need to focus on. And I think finance is very interesting. So while one can limit finance to just the numbers which are there in the financials, etc., but what I would want these professionals to explore is, let's say, what goes behind those numbers. So let's say if you're working on a manufacturing setup, try to go beyond the numbers which are coming in front of you to the actual manufacturing business which is happening. Try to see what is getting into production of a particular item. So understand the process, then assign numbers to those process. So I think important is to understand the business holistically and not just the numbers. So that's my advice to the professionals.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now let's go to the next round and understand Palak as a person.
Mhm.
Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I think formative years are important, and that is what frame a person as to what he or she is. So in my formative years, I was in Jaipur. We were a family of four. So my parents and my elder sister and myself. And so 20 years back, things were really different. And coming from a tier 2 cities, the thought process was not the same. Okay. There were certain nuances that, society used to have. So, we as a family with two girls, so I have heard people in the society saying that, uh, a boy is really important in a family. So I've come with all that background, but I think my parents were very clear in their mind, and they were ahead of their time. I would say ahead of the time, ahead of the society with respect to their thought process that their girls can do whatever any other person can do, right? So they raised that with the same thought process that you're capable of doing what you're thinking. So I think that really helped me throughout my journey, and that helped me, overcome the hiccups wherever I face some. And I think otherwise, as a kid, I think childhood is beautiful, and our parents raised us really well. Though we came from a very humble family, but they raised us with very good thought process. And right now, I and my husband are here. We stay in Mumbai, and we both are working. We travel together. We manage the entire household goals together. So, I think that thought process now is very clear that both of us are important in the family, and both of us are working, and both of us are managing everything together. So that's where it is.
Wow. Okay. What are your memories from your college days?
From my college days, so I'll tell you, I started CA immediately after my school. Okay,
Ooh.
so my college days used to start. It was, I mean, so college days were not college days. College, it was college hours. So I used to go to college from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the morning.
Mhm.
At 11 a.m., my internship used to start, which is CA horticulture. So
Mm.
10 to 6 or 6:30 used to be CA internship, and post that I used to have CA coaching. So those 3 4 hours of college were the only easy hours during those days. And I'll tell you, I have worked so hard in those days. I mean, now whatever work I am doing is no comparison. I mean, you're working from 7 a.m. in the morning and you're attending your coaching till 9:30 p.m. in the evening. So the kind of hard work which has gone during that time is unparalleled. So college days were, for me, more lighter hours in the day, wherein I'm interacting, chit chatting with my friends, doing, of course, learning from the professors as well. But those were the good cheering up, hours for me during the day.
Wow. Beautiful. Okay. Uh, what's one hobby or activity that people might find surprising about you?
I think very clearly shopping. So, as a finance professional, people expect one to be calculative while spending money,
Yeah.
but I am an emotional person, especially during shopping hours. So I absolutely love shopping. If not weekly, then once in 2 weeks I'll go for shopping. I love to shop, and while shopping, I'm totally an emotional person.
What do you mean by emotional? Because this will help
So,
other
by
shoppers
yes,
like you.
I am not as calculative while shopping. So, if I like something, maybe the finance calculation will not go behind it. So it
Hmm.
is an emotional liking that even if, let's say, somebody tells me that it is not worth as much money you're spending on it, but if I like it, I'll still buy it. So,
Yeah, because of the online options available. So
mhm.
you do online or offline shopping?
It's totally offline. I don't prefer
Beautiful,
to shop
beautiful.
online. It's a hobby. I would want to touch and take the feel and then shop.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. So that is another conversation we like to have some other day
Yes.
about how to go about this shopping offline,
Yeah.
go feel all those things.
Yes.
I'm just
Definitely.
thinking something ये creative side. Okay, let us go and do a special episode with you while you're doing shopping
Yeah, yeah, of
to
course. Any
understand
day.
the how you go about, because there are viewers who like to know
Mhm.
uh, the process of buying things
Sure, sure. I
emotionally.
love to do that.
We'll plan out fine. Okay. Uh, who has been your influencer or mentor from the finance world?
So I would say I do not have one mentor, I have many mentors. And right from my childhood, I have had my mom as my mentor, my sister as my mentor. And during my professional journey, my bosses as my mentor, my colleagues as a mentor. So each of them have a different thing to teach you. So my mom taught me to continuously strive in life. My sister taught me all the basic things. Like if she is playing, I would want to play because as a kid, what other kid is doing in the family would want to do exactly the same thing. And similarly, in my first job, I was really lucky to have a very good boss, and uh, the inspiration which she gave me will last throughout the life with me. And so I think each organization has certain people will teach you not just professional nuances but personal nuances as well. And they will give you lifelong lessons
Yep.
which cannot be taught in a book and which cannot be learned from a curriculum, but which can only be learned practically. So I have had many mentors across my life.
Wow. So, any book, movie that has made an impact on you?
So a couple of them. So if I talk about the last book which I read, it is The World for Sale. Okay, so this book talks about how large traders and large companies are influencing the natural resources of the world, how they are influencing politics, and how these handful of companies are actually influencing the whole financial ecosystem. And there goes the dirty corruption, the dirty deals behind it. And this book also talks about how traders which have had a very humble start were able to reach at greater heights with their risk-taking capability. So this book talks about all the dirt which go into the financial world and the real world systems, and also talk about how you can make your ways through it. So this is one book. In terms of let's say a TV series, if I talk about, so I love Breaking Bad. So this series talks about how Walter White, from being a chemistry teacher, became a meth manufacturer. So this TV series has taught me how the choices which you make in your life influence your personality, and whatever you are is a sum total of choices which you make. So I think these two things have these two this one movie and the series has really put a long lasting impact on my entire thought process. And if I talk about movies, then movies like The Pursuit of Happiness, The Intern, etc., really teaches you that whatever you aspire for, you can achieve. You just have to continuously make efforts to achieve that. So everything is doable. You just have to, have your goal clear in your mind, and you should strive towards that.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. Uh, so my last two questions. Uh, what does Sri Shakti mean to you?
Stree Shakti. Stree Shakti is the Shakti which rides inside every woman, but sometimes that woman doesn't see it. She needs a reflection that she has the capability to do whatever she wants to do. A lot of time, women think that there are certain things in life which they cannot do and for which they are dependent on somebody else. So it's the strength which is there within themselves, which they need to realize, or somebody else need to show them that all of it lies within you. It just needs to be ignited. So that is Stree Shakti for me.
Wow. So Palak, have you made a bucket list for 2025 to do professionally and personally?
Yeah, it's a long bucket list. It has items for travel. It has items for fitness as to what do I want to achieve in terms of my fitness goals. It has my professional targets, personal targets. So it's a long bucket list, and every year I would do that. And I mean, you achieve some, you do not achieve some. It has a long list of books which I need to read. It has a long list of people with whom I want to keep in regular touch with. So I have a long bucket list for this year. So far, I think I've been on track.
Wow.
Look forward to keep the same going.
So let's connect in December and check.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah. So I'm planning something like that. See, I've been asking questions
Mhm.
on bucket list, wish list.
Yeah.
We're starting with now fire a side chat also between
Let's go ahead.
two professionals from different industries.
Mhm.
So like I'm doing with IP lawyer and M&A lawyer.
Okay.
So like that, apna from crossbreed.
Okay, okay.
So for you, I'm planning something. Let me apna we'll discuss this.
Sure, sure.
Okay. My last googly question. Describe Palak in one line.
Okay, so as I had mentioned earlier, also to me, a person is sum together of the choices that person has made throughout his or her own life, right? So I would not want to use any adjectives here for myself, of course.
Okay.
So I'll say that I am a girl who has come from a tier two city, who is trying to make her career in finance in Mumbai. And at the same time, while focusing on her professional career, she is also trying to manage her family and the social life together. So it's like any other person who is managing who is trying to keep everything managed at the same time, but have her own struggles. So there's no perfect life, but I think I'm that person who gets joys and who feels that sense of accomplishment when solving a problematic task. So that's me.
Beautiful. Okay. Let's have some fun. The rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets or presentations.
Spreadsheets.
Uh, favorite Indian festival.
Diwali, any day.
Numbers or strategy.
Strategy.
Okay. Your go-to comfort food.
Idli dosa.
Okay. Yeah. 3 words that describe your work style.
Passionate, workaholic, and keen to find logics.
Wow. Your favorite color.
Black.
That's right, black. Tea or coffee.
Coffee.
Let's raise.
Cheers.
Favorite food from Jaipur or Rajasthan.
Pyaz ka kachori.
Wow. Okay. So you did what I asked you and you did very well. And
Yeah.
here's your book.
Thank you so much.
Wait,
Thank
it's
you.
been autographed. So we give you lifetime memories.
Okay, thank you so much.
So friends, it was a lovely conversation having with Palak at this special Republic Day episode of Stree Shakti at the Coffee Corner Show. This episode is very important, like persons who want to go into the financial world of debt syndication, structured credit, and treasury rules. You get all the information and what exciting it can be done. How Palak has made it like a passion, and which is keeping her exciting, managing a team, having a good relation with her seniors. This is what the episode all about, and her personal journey also, which is very exciting. Also, like she is a emotional shopaholic, which we'll be covering. So, like this, there are over 300 plus episodes of the Coffee Corner Show with different subject experts and topics. Subscribe, and you will get inspired from their journey. And if you want to be featured like Palak, visit our website, theemergingindiaforum.com, and fill in the form or our social media handles, and our team will invite you to have coffee conversation or a cup of coffee. Thank you.
Thank you.